Who is the most underrated wide receiver in the NFL? Think about it. And spoiler alert, it's not who you think. See, when you talk about the most underrated wide receivers, those talks usually tend to start with the likes of Hines Ward, Santana Moss, and Muhsin Muhammad. And if you fast forward to nowadays, you hear the names of Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, or Calvin Ridley. And don't get me wrong, these players are very underrated and very good at that. But what I'm talking about is a different underrated. I'm talking about a Super Bowl winning wide receiver who holds nearly every single wide receiver record in his franchise history, but yet still, year after year, doesn't get the love he deserves. See, even when we talk about the best wide receivers of the game, we talk about names like Jerry Rice, Michael Irvin, and Megatron typically get the most shine. And even nowadays, receivers like Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and Tyreek Hill get all the love. And to be clear, and I want to be clear, they deserve it. They are cold. No one's knocking them. This is more of a light shedding moment on this player that I'm talking about. Only one wide receiver in the game today has been doing it year after year consistently since he's been in the league. Now I'm gonna just be real, I'm tired of the disrespect. Since the season has ended, I've spent the last 3 months comparing wide receivers, combing through highlights, looking at stats, and it all says the same thing. The stats check out. So without further ado, it's about time we all put some respect on Mikey Evans' name. Let's go. All right, if you don't know Mike, here's a 10-second backstory. The 6'5" wide receiver was born and raised in Galveston, Texas, and went to Galveston Ball High School, where he later started to play football and received a full ride scholarship to Texas A&M. At A&M, Mike teamed up with Johnny Manziel to form one of the best college football quarterback wide receiver duos to ever play the game, and it's not even a question. The two combined for 147 receptions, 2,500 receiving yards, and 17 touchdowns in school history, resulting in both players getting drafted in the 2014 NFL Draft. Numbers don't lie, right? And the undeniable facts tell this story. Mikey quickly took the NFL by storm with a record-breaking rookie year. He finished his rookie season with 68 receptions for 1,051 yards and 12 touchdowns, setting the franchise records as a rookie in touchdowns with 12. Mikey would go on to break his own touchdown record, 12, in 2020 with 13 again, and in 2021 with 14. Let me just also say, this dude is only one of 2 guys to have 10 consecutive 1,000 yards receiving in a row. And on top of that, within his first 10 seasons in the league, that's special. The other to do that, by the way, only Jerry Rice. And what's really crazy, in my opinion, is how well he was able to adapt from quarterback to quarterback throughout his entire career. In 2014, he had Josh McCown and Mike Glennon throwing him the ball, and then from 15 to 2019, it was a revolving door of Jameis Winston, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and a bunch of other quarterbacks who would get put in whenever these guys would get hurt. Not until 2020 did he really start to get some really good quarterback play when Tom Brady joined the team, and I think we all know what happened after that. When you pull everything together, his career stats, he has 11,680 yards on 762 catches and 94 touchdowns. And he's only going into his 11th year. Now, when we talk about his yardage per year, he's only been in the top 5 2 or 3 times, and in the top 10 5 out of 10 times. So he's never been the best at yards in any given one year, which is another reason why I think he's been slept on so hard. He hasn't been at the very top of every year, and most people tend to look at those top 1, 2, 3 players. So, like I said, another reason why I think he's been slept on pretty heavily. But he's consistently performed at an elite level year after year. And he's low-key a dog. Like, he's one of those guys you want to have your back when you're going in to play a Marshawn Lattimore and you know there's going to be physical games. That's the type of guys you want. In fact, when we look at his entire career work, his career stats are better than him, this guy, and this guy, and this guy. Like I said earlier, Mike's a future Hall of Famer walking in plain sight, and everyone's sleeping on it. Some may argue that stats aren't everything, but they certainly paint a compelling picture. So after comparing him to the receivers that we have right now, I started to pull receivers from back in the day that are already in the Hall of Fame to see, how close or how far does Mike have to go to get there. And his career stats stack up to some of the most well-known Hall of Fame wide receivers today, like Michael Irvin. Now, it hurts for me to say this because that's my team, but I have to. Look, I'm not here to try to tell you he's the best wide receiver to ever play the game, but I want to shed some light on this player because I believe he's been underrated for far too long. My case for Mikey ends like this. Even when we zoom out and take a look at a broader picture, Evans ranks 33rd in career yardage in the NFL with 11,860. He just signed a new 3-year contract. So let's say he finishes that 3-year contract out with Tampa Bay. And let's say he finishes 2024 with 1,000 yards receiving, 2025 with 900, and 2026 with 1,000. This would vault Mike from 33rd in receiving to 9th, passing Reggie Wayne for 10th. And I think it's safe to say if you end up in the top 10 receiving yardage in your career, it's pretty safe to say that you're going to make the Hall of Fame. And looking at that top 10, Larry Fitzgerald and Reggie Wayne will both be inducted soon. With numbers like that, it can't be denied. Mikey Evans is the most underrated wide receiver in the NFL. So the next time somebody talks about the best wide receivers in the game or the most underrated wide receivers in the game, let's not forget to put Mikey Evans in that conversation because the stats don't lie and the play is even better. Hey, if y'all enjoyed this ride learning about Mike Evans and his stats, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button down below. Let me know what you guys think and if you got any more video ideas in the future. It's your boy Z. I love y'all. I miss y'all. And come back for the next video.